that said, we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome to the 21-day reset. My hope in you guys coming tonight is that you learn something, that you take home something that's actionable. This pandemic has affected all of us in different ways, and it's really been an interesting journey, not one that any of us would have chosen, but there's just a lot of things when you're stuck at home that you may end up developing habits, or some bad habits you might have might be accelerated during a time of staying at home, or again, used constructively, sometimes we can choose to turn bad habits into good ones or improve them. So that's my hope, is that by looking at this, you guys will be able to take home some things to do, and there'll be an offer to go on the 21-day reset if you choose to. And we will want to help you every step of the way. The one advantage to doing this will be that it's all pretty much done online. You don't have to come in here to do your workouts. And I'll show you the website when we get to that point. But, as we stop and think, I've taken some notes, and I try to hit all these points. So if you just look at the health of our country in general, so how many of you guys, and I realize there's only 3 of us here right now, but how many of you guys have had a loved one or someone really close to you affected by cancer? Just raise your hand if you have. Yeah. Okay, so we got one. How about diabetes or complications of diabetes? We got one there. How about heart disease? I'll raise my hand. I have had relatives that have heart disease. And so those are the 3 most common killers in the United States. And if there was a big crowd, we have everybody stand up and say, okay, sit down if you've had a family member or loved one affected by cancer, and a certain number set down. And do the same thing for diabetes, and the same thing for heart disease. And usually almost the whole room is sat down. So I guess my question, okay, well, those 3 things, when's enough enough? What can we do? Because there's been a war on cancer supposedly since the 1970s. But again, a lot of these things are tied into our lifestyle and the habits that we form. So just to kind of get you guys engaged, and if you don't have any comment or don't want to comment, it's not a problem. But how has COVID and the quarantine stuff affected you guys? Any specific things?
Really, I don't go out as much, but I deliver mail, so I'm out all day anyway.
You're out and about regardless.
Yeah, so if I have to go to the store, I get basically, it's weird, I don't know, I don't think it's really changed anything.
That's good.
We don't go out to eat as much. I don't hang out in Walmart as much, or the grocery store as much. I just get what I need to get out.
Yeah. Anything to add?
I think like the psychological aspect of it, like just how more observant of how other people react around you. Like sometimes going to a store without a mask or something, I do, but like keep my distance from everybody, kind of thing. Yeah. But I found that I hold my breath and turn my head when I walk past someone. I don't know. I think it's mostly because I'm afraid of what they're gonna react, and it's more of this just weird dynamic. And I was at a wedding, and just almost it's like, I don't know, the lack of physical touch is not a good thing.
Yeah, and I totally get what you're saying. I agree. It's changed a lot of just the interpersonal dynamics, the day-to-day stuff that maybe you didn't really think that much about previously. So I'm gonna quick check and see if, no, we're good. Okay. So I was thinking, so my daughter and I, we kind of have this running joke. If we hear someone coughing in our presence, we look at each other, COVID, And of course, I was on quarantine for 2 weeks because Connie, my wife that works at Concordia, did have it, and thankfully she didn't have a severe case. But so it's affected us in all of us in different ways. So let's go on. So let's see here.
More so now because the cases were even higher than they were originally.
Yeah.
Yep. That's for sure. Uh-oh. Well, there's something stuck on here. Let's see. Ah! You just have to try several different methods. This is why I hate technology, because it never works well for me. So reset. So, you know, you guys all probably work with computers to some degree, right? So what do you guys do if the program freezes up or gets stuck?
Reset the computer.
Right, exactly.
After a few choice
Yeah.
words.
Yes, absolutely. So it's like the way I learned it, and I don't know if it's still done this way or not, but Control Alt Delete,
Yep.
and then the little thing
Control
pops
panel.
up that says Program Manager in the program. So yeah, so this is the purpose of having this is to reset. Let's adjust. Let's fix. Let's try something in a new, different way. Yay!
I think it was asleep.
Yeah. If you would like to help me if I get stuck, you're more than welcome to. I would really appreciate it. So anyway, thanks for putting up with my ignorance that way. But you know, when we talk about health, it says right there on the top, health is the body's ability to adapt to its environment. And the way that our bodies adapt is through several different ways. It adapts to, depending on what kind of physical stress that it's been through, it adapts to mental and emotional stress, and it adapts to biochemical stress. And I'll talk a little more thoroughly about those things as time goes on. But health is kind of like a continuum. You know, if you look clear down here, I don't know, I know you guys are a ways away, so it may not be able to read it. But over here, it goes from illness all the way over to wellness. And on the illness aspect, it says multiple medications, poor quality of life, limited potential, body has limited function. And then if you get clear over here to wellness, it says 100% function, continuous development, active participation, wellness lifestyle. And you know, all of us, no matter who we are, our health, we're somewhere along this continuum. And you know, I always tell people when I show them this, it doesn't matter so much to me where you're at right now. What matters is which direction are you headed? Are you headed toward health? You headed toward illness? And so that's one of the things we assess when we go through some of our wellness designed programs here, as we assess where you're at today so that we can determine which direction you're going in. And then if you are going in the wrong direction, let's get you turned around and going in the right direction. And the way that we do that is we take measurements, we do some tests ahead of time, so we've got a baseline. And then as you go through a program, even a short 3-week program like this, we measure you at the end so that you know that you're not just making progress as you feel, although sometimes that goes with it as well. But we want to see some physiological change to where it's actually a measurable thing. You know, if you have high blood pressure, let's see 3 weeks or 8 weeks or 3 months down the road, is it going down? If it's going down, then we know we're making a positive physiological change, which is far more important, believe it or not, in how we feel day to day. Not that feelings aren't important, they definitely are, but that varies. If you're in great health, you can feel cruddy one day. If you're in bad health, sometimes maybe you don't feel quite as bad, but the point is, if we make physiological change, then we can be certain that your body is trending in the right direction. So, next thing. So, you guys heard of Stephen Covey, he's an author. Anyway, so he's got a book out called the 7 most common highly effective ways of highly effective people. And one of the things he says in the book is really interesting. He says that, let's see if I can get the quote, if I can get it just right. What matters most should never be at the mercy of what matters least. Which, if you think about it, makes a lot of sense. So, as you guys think about it, and feel free to chime in and don't feel obligated, but if you think about what's important to you, what things are really important to you? Anybody want to jump in?
Longevity.
Yep, want to live a long, healthy life. So how about things that are important to you or people that are important to you, if that's the case? Like for me, obviously my wife and daughter are highly important to me. Yep, animals, we have cats too, so they're part of our family. Yep.
Family and just having energy to do the things I like to do.
And that's an excellent point, because when we don't have that, how well can we enjoy? You know, I've read a lot of different books over a period of time, and one of the things they say is that, you know, the meaning of life is found in serving others. That's where we can have a lot of things, we can have a lot of material possessions and money, but what it boils down to is we really get our self-worth from being able to serve others. Now, if we're in poor health, how well are we able to serve others? How well are we able to take care of our family, our kids, our parents, you know, our pets? Right. So if you don't feel well, all you can focus on is yourself and your own problems. And so that makes it a lot harder, a lot more problematic to serve others. So that's really a kind of an interesting point to think about. And that's another reason, well, if we can develop good habits, then we're better able to serve others. So, okay, let's see. I wanted just to touch on the different kinds of stress. So when we talk about physical stress, you know, something as simple as being born is a very stressful process, both to the baby and to the mom. So that, you know, we have trauma the minute we're born as people. A lot of times what we run into when we assess a person is we'll ask them, okay, what injuries have you had? Have you ever had a concussion? Have you been in any accidents? These things have a lot to do with health outcomes down the road. So any activity or even lack of activity, are you sitting for long periods of time? Are you on your phones, you know, or you have text neck like a lot of kids do now, you know? These are really things that cause extra physical stress on the body. And then the mental emotional stress, I mean, there's big pushes out there for mental and emotional health, and that certainly is important, but you know, everybody experiences that, and that does have a huge effect on our health outcomes. And then there's biochemical stress. What foods are we eating? What things are we eating that aren't very healthy? I mean, as an example, you know, how many of us have eaten processed food in the last week? I probably shouldn't raise my hand, but I think I did once. And you checking on that?
Yeah, I was just making sure
Yeah,
that
go
somebody
ahead.
hasn't tried to log in.
Yeah, he's unless it's asleep again. Nope, looks like we're still
Yeah.
good. Nothing's popped up yet, so okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But so yeah, I mean, a lot of us eat fast food. We're kind of a society. We're addicted to convenience and comfort. And again, nothing wrong with those things, but if that's all we focus on, then that's rough on our health. Medications, you know, sometimes those are bad. You know, alcohol, tobacco, too much caffeine, illegal stuff, you know, all that stuff has an effect on our health. So let's go ahead and move on here. So 21-day reset, what's it all about? Well, basically it's based on developing plans on, pretty simple, eating better, moving better, thinking better. It's all three of those aspects. As you can see, 8 Weeks to Wellness over here, we're an affiliate of 8 Weeks to Wellness, and that is sort of the signature plan that's offered here, and that is an 8-week program. And this 3 weeks is sort of like a real small snapshot of it, but it's based all on those three things. So our bodies were made to move, so we got to figure out ways to move them if we're not moving them, and to, you know, get out of the bad ways of moving or sitting long periods of time. We need to eat better. We need to eat healthy foods. We need to eat real foods and not so much of the processed and bad foods. And we need to learn to think better. And the way we recommend to do that, one of the ways is via daily meditation, just kind of changing your environment in terms of what what you're intaking on a day-to-day basis and so forth. So, yeah, there we go. Okay. So we already talked about things that are important to us. And as you can see on the top, it says that your health is the most important asset you own. I mean, is there really anything in our personal lives that's more important? We think, well, yeah, we got to have finances to pay our bills. We got to have a job so we can have the finances. But if we don't have our health, then none of that is feasible anymore. So it is actually our most important thing, unless you guys can think of something that's more important than that. If you can, then I tip my cap to you, because I haven't been able to figure that out yet. All right, let's see. So, what is your why? So, if you go about trying to make changes, the only way that you can make it work, or one of the most effective ways, is you have to have a why. So, why are you doing it? Because if you go into something you don't really know why you're doing it, how long is it going to last? Probably not very long. So a why, an example, and I think this is a good one for me. I have a daughter that's 18. If I can stay healthy and vital and hopefully be able to continue to serve other people, I'd like to meet my great grandkids someday. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but I mean, my daughter's 18 and nothing imminent at this point, thank goodness. But someday, if the Lord's willing, she'll have children, and her children will have children. So, I mean, that's talking, 20, 25 years down the road, minimally, which will get me well into my late 80s. So it's a little scary to think about sometimes, but that's an example. So that's something, if you go about this, you should spend some time and think about, okay, well, why am I doing this? What's the reason, or what reasons? There may be more than one reason that you have. And so I think that's an important thing to look at. Whew, there we go. And again, we already talked about this. Happiness in life is a byproduct of serving others, and we can serve ourselves, and that can make us happy temporarily, but there's a lot more lasting satisfaction in being able to help others. I mean, there's just a lot of opportunities out there, but if we're not healthy, it makes it more difficult. You can't serve others if you feel horrible, if you have little to no energy, or are focused on your symptoms. So, and that is a book that's recommended by Simon Sinek. Huh. Didn't come through there very well.
The why is covering it. White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't come out real good, so
Yeah.
I'll have to get after 8 weeks to wellness. Fix your slides, people. No, it's I'm sure if you type in start with why, you could find that book. All right, so how do we do this? First of all, this is a process. This isn't a quick fix. This isn't you're gonna solve all your problems in 3 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it is. So one thing to do is to schedule your days, and the program gives you good ideas on how to do that. Dr. Donahue is the chiropractor that came up with his twin sister, the 8 Weeks to Wellness program, and he says this a lot: that which gets scheduled gets done. And I find in my own life that's very true. If I don't have something scheduled, it's a lot more likely to go one ear out the other. Plan the days. Are you a morning or an evening person? So once you get the hang of it, it should only take about 10 minutes each day to plan the day out. Another good way, if you're a journaling person or a logging person, to record so you can go back, and that's a good way to say down the road, if you get discouraged, you page back several weeks or months and say, well, back here I was here, and I maybe don't feel so hot today, but I'm here today. And so that can actually be an encouragement if you record. So they do have a Facebook group that you can join if you join the 21-day reset. And it's got some people that will give you some online support, other than we would give you that support too if you had questions or run into snags or we didn't know, we'd find somebody that could answer your questions. So there is an online platform that way, or excuse me, the Facebook page. This program is run all online, and I will show that to you here shortly, or hopefully I'll be able to do that. You'll want to spend some time and set up your home gym. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to have stuff like this in here, but there'll be a few things like some bands. If you have dumbbells or kettlebells or a TRX, a TRX is this type of thing. Let's see, what else is there? There's a mat. That's pretty simple to get a hold of if you don't have a back peanut. I can show you what that is. That is 2 tennis balls or lacrosse balls taped together. That's one way to help loosen the spine up. You lie down on it, and it feels really awful when you start, but as time goes on, it gets better. So that's called a back peanut. And if you need help making one of those, we can help you out with that. There's foam rollers. You can buy those at Walmart, I imagine, can't you? Pretty inexpensively, and that's you can see some of the ones over there against the wall.
I have no excuse. I have all that stuff at home.
Do you? Wow, that's awesome.
Plus
That's
I have
great.
Oh, what is it? Chuck Norris Body Total Gym. Oh, but it currently has boxes.
Oh my gosh. Wow. We should all come over to your house, shouldn't we?
I got the kettlebells.
Wow, that's awesome. There you go. And then the Calm app and the MyZone app. MyZone is something we don't have here, but it'd be nice to someday, but it's basically a way to gauge the amount of energy you're putting forth in your workouts. But we don't have that here, so you can disregard that, or you can check into that if you wanted to anyway. And then Calm is an app that has to do with meditation. There's other ways to do that, because I think Calm is there is a
Calm and MySpace.
yeah.
Is it Headspace?
Headspace. So yeah, those are other ways of accessing meditation and things of that nature. So what are we doing on the 21 days? We're eliminating sugar or greatly cutting down on it. We're eliminating or cutting way down on flour. We have low glycemic index foods, which are basically foods that are not high in things that increase our insulin from the pancreas. Because insulin's what they call kind of like fat fertilizer. The more you have to put out, the harder it is for the body to keep up. And so that's an important one to remember too. And we'll increase fat burning. Now it says ketosis on there. This is not a ketogenic diet, just so you know, but there are some aspects of that included in there, but it's not a completely fat and protein diet. We want you to increase, in most cases, people need to increase their water intake. And by that, I mean, you take your body weight, divide it by 2, and you'll get your ounces of water you should be drinking every day. So a person like myself, around 200 pounds, divide it by 2, I should be taking in around 100 ounces of water every day. There are 4 core supplements. These are outside of the 21-day reset, but if you're not on these, it's definitely worth thinking about. Omega-3 fish oil is a really important one to reduce inflammation. We recommend it to people all the time and have for years. I've taken it myself for over 10 years. And it isn't the capsules you buy at Walmart either. It's the pure stuff that can really help reduce inflammation. Omega-3 and omega-6 combat each other, and we need both of them, but we get way too much omega-6 and way too little omega-3, so they should balance each other out. Vitamin D3, that's the most common vitamin deficiency that there is out there, and one thing they found is that if you have low vitamin D levels, which a lot of people do, it really lowers your immune system, it really lowers your ability to fight infection, i.e. COVID-19, or any other thing that comes down the pike. That's a very important one to be taken. And they've got everybody scared to get sun in the summer because you're going to get skin cancer. Well, if you get small amounts during the summer, during the warm season, you can do it smart and you can get a lot of D just by through the skin. And that's actually the best way to do it. But a lot of people don't. So the D3 is pretty important. A probiotic is important for bowel health, gut health. And we have meal replacement drinks. There's shakes that go along with the 8 Weeks to Wellness program. And if you do sign up and want to find out more information on that, we can definitely give that to you. Nutridyne is one of the companies that we use. We also use companies like Standard Process and NutriWest. So we have a lot of different options. And then the next thing we want to do is increase people's metabolism through exercise. Now, when we talk about exercise, we try to meet people where they're at, because everybody's going to start at a different level. Some people are able to do a lot, and some people can't hardly move. And we have to, understand that. So we just want to make sure that we're moving better, because our bodies were made to move. And if we're not moving, it's deleterious, very, very hard on our health. Okay, so and there's another thing you could consider. You can get a heart rate belt or monitor to monitor your pulse rate and so forth as well. There are those things you can buy at the store, and I think some are pretty inexpensive. And then we also want to increase mobility and core strength, and that's through the exercises. Want to eventually increase strength and muscle mass. Now, let's be honest, some people aren't ready for strength and muscle mass when you start. So we start by moving a little better, and then we slowly incorporate weight and strength training once we get you to a point where it's safe to do so. And that, if we start everybody all at the same level, a lot of people would be so sore they never want to touch another exercise thing again. And that's not a fun place to be. I still get a little sore from my exercise sometimes, and the poor trainer in here has to listen to me gripe about it. But I feel sorry for her, but I guess that's what we pay her the big bucks for. So, but anyway, and then the mental and emotional health is very important too. And of course, exercise does help it's been shown exercise does help your mental and emotional well-being. But mindfulness, meditation, whatever that looks like for you, there's a lot of different ways to do it. The Calm app we already talked about, and pick a specific time each day for meditation, prayer. The point is we've got to do something to kind of set our minds right, so that when we're hitting the day, we have a good or a lot better mindset, and that helps our days go a lot better. And then improving breathing and relaxation, which kind of goes with the mindfulness as well. 8 hours of quality sleep for most people is really important as well. And again, that can vary depending on you are. Some people, they think they can get by on 5 or 6, and eventually that wears them down. So 8 hours of sleep. Okay, I got to kind of get here. So the steps to success, and the program will show you how to do this. You'll get your grocery list together, chop, then chop. Return from the grocery store, wash produce. There's a lot of things to do with that. Yeah, say if you
Just gonna check in.
Yeah. Well, looks like we're okay still. All right, so basically, there's some guidelines. There's added sweeteners are not allowed unless specified in the recipe. You will get recipes to try. There's no artificial sweeteners. We don't use grain flours during this time. No juice, milk, sugary coffee, soda. Water's your friend for the next 21 days. Limit your condiments. Avoid all with sugar, ketchup, dressings, barbecue sauce, and then the old rhyme: when in doubt, leave it out, because it's only for 3 weeks. Interestingly, it says down here, alcohol is permitted, but limited to 2 drinks twice a week. Try to pick low sugar drinks, vodka press, wine, White Claw presses, dry cider. Avoid high carb sugar items like beer, mixed drinks like Cosmos or mimosas. And don't be afraid to tailor the meal plan to your needs, but lean the recipes down as needed. If you're concerned about, you know, kinds of fat, use ground turkey instead of ground beef. I think they give you a lot of different suggestions. I know they put a lot of time and effort in putting the program together so it's user friendly. So, and I'll show you the website here just shortly. A balance of macronutrients from each meal and snack. Eat 3 meals a day and 2 snacks daily. Get your whole family involved. If you have kids, they love to have a choice and enjoy being able to help create meals. If you don't have kids, get your spouse involved. No spouse, have a friend join you for extra support and accountability. Accountability, that's probably the hardest thing to do online, is because you'll have to motivate yourself. If you come in and work with our trainer, well, the accountability is the trainer watching you. But this will get you going in the right direction. So
The sugar thing, kind of crazy. My husband's diabetic and he's having to monitor his blood sugar.
is he type 1 or 2? Okay, that's fine.
His doctor.
It's not good.
No, it's not.
good.
And he needs to lose weight, but we've been looking more at sugars, you know, carb sugars.
Mhm.
If it's not a sugar, what sweeteners in it.
Mhm.
But we have to look at sugars and added sugars.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of
you
stuff.
can have 1 cup of juice and you got your whole daily sugar pump.
Yeah, I mean, how many, you know, people look at orange juice, for example, or apple juice, and they think, oh, it's from a fruit, it's healthy.
Yeah.
Well, it's, if you really look at it, it's very, very high glycemic because, okay, so oranges, yeah, they're healthy, but the reason they're healthy is because they have natural sugar and they have fiber that helps slow down the sugar effect. So what happens when they give you orange juice, they've taken the sweet, pulled out all the fiber, and your glass of orange juice is like if you sat down and ate 5 or 6 oranges at one time, literally.
Yeah.
And I mean, how many of us do that? And, you know, but we guzzle a glass of orange juice thinking it's healthy, and it's really almost as hard on you as soda, you know?
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff we've been led to believe by the food industry is totally false. And this will help break through that. Now, again, does it mean it's easy to change? It's not easy to change sometimes. But if you don't do it and you keep going on the same path, well, you can't really expect much to change in your life or your health. So this is one of the measures we use. It's called body impedance analysis, which is basically a fancy term for, we do a test that shows us what your body is composed of, meaning how much water's in it, how much fat's in it, how much muscle mass is in it. And then down the road, we take it again. So you can see, do I have less muscle mass? Do I have more muscle mass? Did my fat mass go down? Did it go up? You know, we got to figure out which way you're going. And so actually it's that little white machine right on the floor there is our BIA machine. And we just slap a mat down and have you lie there, and you have a couple of leads put on your arm and your feet. You totally don't feel anything. It's not, you don't get electrocuted or anything like that. And it spits out the numbers and we go over them. And tonight we'll be offering this along with the program free of charge. And it's normally like a $59 value at least, and we'll do one before and after. So that is an important measure to do that. So let's take a look at the platform. And I hope. Okay. Let's see here. Yay! I'm so happy that this came up. So what would happen if you signed up? After you sign up, you're given access for 31 days to this particular website. And I'm going to start. Okay, there we go. So that's what the website looks like. And it says there's 115 things to potentially go through, not all at once. Thank goodness for that. But it starts out to welcome to your challenge. It gives you some tips how to set up your home gym. Tells you how to join the Facebook group. It's on a platform called Kajabi, which that just sounds like safari in Africa type thing to me, so I have no idea what that means, but it gives you a walkthrough of the platform to learn how to use it more efficiently. The MyZone we probably won't use. It talks about the nutrition supplement, so it goes over that. There's a nutrition orientation. Let's see, let's click on that to see what. So that'll give you a video to watch, a short one there. And then you'll move on to the shopping list. So that's your week 1 menu, and it goes on. There's different lessons involved. Let's see if I can. Let's go back. Okay, so there's the shopping lists all made out for you. And then says day 1. So on day 1, this would get unlocked, and there's a morning message every day. There's a journal page. If you're a journaler, is that a word? Here's the PDF. You can click on that and make notes if you want to make a journal. Okay, there's a challenge, like to the day 1 challenge is to let's take a look about the social media. Take a look at your daily schedule. You're starting the challenge to help with overall health and wellness. Do your daily activities support that? Be sure and take out things that are excessive, like screen time sometimes, to make room for healthier habits like meal prep, exercise. So it gives you a challenge every day that is practical. And then there's meditation resources. It says choose one from the available meditation sessions from the library. So if you click there, it sends you to a library, and so you could use that if you don't have the Calm app or the other one you were talking about. Headspace, gotcha, thank you. And then there's a workout. So let's look at the first workout here. So the video itself is 30 minutes, and they just explain to you what you're supposed to do step by step. And then on day 2, we start all over. They unlock day 2. So, and then here's day 3, 4, 5. This is actually, I think Laurel signed up to do it. Since we're affiliates, we can do it ourselves as well. So that's what the website looks like. What do you guys think about that? Does that look like it's fairly easy to navigate, or?
It looks really user friendly to me.
It does to me, and I'm coming from I'm an old person standpoint here. So, okay, any questions about that right now? I mean, that's basically what you'd be looking at. Let's see, so I'm gonna take that down. Now I forgot how to.
If you go to the bottom.
I forgot how to make it full screen.
That one.
This one?
Keep going. Over.
There.
One more. There.
Ta-da. Oh, slideshow. Imagine that. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay. So, all right. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, great. Well, we can go ahead and do that. So before I go through all this, you can see what the price is regularly. We do want people that are motivated to start to make the decision to do it tonight. And the reason we do is because there's an old saying, procrastination is the thief of health. What we found is if we can give you an incentive to get started, you're a lot more likely to get started. If we have to think about it too long, well, pretty soon we're thinking about something else, and then it just kind of goes by the wayside. So if you feel like this is something that's for you, now's a great time to do it. Looks like you got some good support. So the way to sign up for it, you can fill. Let me take a look at that. So yeah, okay, that's it. So basically what you'd have to do is you can look at this link. Now it's a big long link. And you can either write that down and type it into your own browser, but we need to have you do it tonight, and you'll get $100 off, plus you'll get the BIA before and the BIA after. I think a good time to officially start would be like next Monday. So if you wanted to get your BIA done Monday or Tuesday, we could figure out a way to make that work for you. So anyway, you take the link, this link right at the bottom here. Not showing it on here, but oh, what did I do? Laurel said it was doing this, and
Write down the link.
For sure.
yeah,
I
look,
think I have a pen.
let's see. Okay, well, it's just going back and forth here, so okay, I was hoping to jump back in there, but okay, well, anyway, let's see, I'm gonna escape, and I'm gonna show you where you'll go if you click on that. Let's see, where's my other one? Help. Ah, is that it? Oh, shoot.
You have another tab on there
I do, and I just not sure where it is.
at the top.
Oh, there it is. There we go. Thank you. So that brings you, and then you will write the coupon code, which was in there. It's get started
Get started.
is the coupon code, and then you put your name, email, password, and then that'll give you it'll give you access to the website that I showed you, and then you can start to get organized and get started. So I'm trying to think of, so I did have a patient, and I've had patients over many, many years, obviously, with my gray hair here. But as I think about it, there are some regrets. I just this past year, I had a patient that was close to my age. He'd been a patient for a long, long time, and he had type 2 diabetes. When we moved downstairs here, I said, "Hey," I'll call him Bill, not your Bill. Well, I'll call him Bill. So Bill, we got this new program. I told him all about 8 weeks to wellness and how excited I was, and that sounds really interesting. I'll have to think about that sometime. And like, yeah. But you could just kind of tell that he wasn't quite into that. Well, the sad part about it, and I have seen this happen over the years, he just, he was a big guy, he was an ex-athlete, he was real confident in himself, and I really liked the guy. But he just wouldn't pull the trigger to start to change. And I was like, man, you've had type 2 diabetes for I don't know how many years, and you're just kind of like a bomb waiting to go off. And I found out, I don't know, it's probably in the last year, he had a stroke and died. And it's like, man, why didn't I just really get mean and make him do it, And that's kind of the regrets that I have. It's like, if we've got availability to help people, it's hard to know where that line is of pushing too hard. But, I think sometimes if I don't push hard enough, another person's going to walk out the door and die on me, and it's really a difficult situation. I mean, we don't want that for any of us. We all know we're going to die someday, but why die when you're still fairly young or have family and kids and grandkids, and it's just tough. So, I don't know if stories like that motivate you at all, but it's like, man, we got to do something to change the health of this country. We're let's see if I can move. I got one more slide to show you that I think is really a pertinent thing. Okay, so I got to go back down to full screen again. Okay. See, I did learn something. Okay, yep, sign up and you'll get the RJL as a bonus, but before and after for no extra cost. So this is a quote that Martin Luther King did: "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, where he stands in times of challenge and controversy." And again, the context maybe is a little different in this situation because we're talking about people's health and not the struggle of the Black community. But it's the same principles, they're still the same. We're a society of comfort and convenience, and is it any wonder, in 1950, I read this, in 1950, less than 1% of the population was considered morbidly obese. That's a BMI over 40. Today, it's almost 10%. So 1 out of every 10 people is considered morbidly obese. That means it's dangerous. They could die from it just literally any time. And obese people considered obese is up to 42% in the United States. That's scary. I mean, this is a time of, and something like the coronavirus crisis, when we aren't out, I mean, it's affected me too. I don't travel near as much as I used to. And so we just don't, we get into bad habits and it just accelerates it. And man, we got to do something to change our country's future and change our country's health. And until we as a society and individually realize that it's up to us, it's not up to the government, it's not up to your medical doctor, it's not even up to the chiropractor. Ultimately, your health is up to you to change. And if we don't do that, then is it any wonder that we have the health outcomes that we have? So I hope that this is kind of an eye-opening thing for people, but by the same token, we're here to help. If you sign up for it, we'll help you any way we can. If you don't, I just hope that you learned something. But I just wanted to thank you. We got you out of here in less than an hour. And so I try to keep my promise on that. And so if you're interested in signing up, please do. You can save $100 off the program if you sign up before midnight. If you call me tomorrow and sign up, I'll be happy to sign you up, but it'll be an extra $100. So if that's a motivator to you, then all the better. So
You go back to the website.